The hell and back is in the job description. Being roughed up, scuffed up, run over, kicked, thrown, dropped, dunked, and done the unthinkable is a duty we've embraced for more than 40 years. Through superior engineering and constant innovation, only Pelican has conquered the chaos a life of ambition can dish out. And we've done it to empower you.
Yak Gadget, made in America, based outside of Nashville, Tennessee. Yak Gadget offers all kinds of storage accessories, quick mount motor mounts, anchor systems, track mounted accessories, even paddles. Go to yakgadget.com and get your kayak decked out for your next trip out on the water.
The 153 Bait Company, based in Troy, Ohio, make everything from plastics to custom painted hard baits. Hook 'em hard and hook 'em off. All of our baits are made to order, and all of our hard baits are hand painted to order. So go to the153anglers.com to place your order today.
Boom! What up, Jay?
What's up, Brian?
Jay Randall back in the house.
Yes.
Or no, we just
We took a break.
we took a week off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me no time to shave, though.
Yeah, Jay looks like he's 12 again. So drop in the comments how Jay looks like he's 12.
Yep.
Doesn't look like a hobo anymore. He went from being homeless to loaded with toys. So
Loaded with toys.
Facebook user in the house. Glad to see a new show. What up? What up, OGs? I don't know who's tuning in from the PNF crew, but welcome back to another show. Go down in that lower left-hand corner, smash that share button. We got Susie Q in the house tonight. Epic announcement. We are now live on Waypoint TV. You can now catch all our video and audio on Waypoint TV. Download the Waypoint app. You can get stuff on there if you want to have the option of both, all at your fingertips instead of having to go to, Apple or Google or something like that for the audio form and then have to go find it on YouTube, whatever. If you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so. Anything else?
I think you got it pretty much.
Come on, Jay, get excited. We're back, baby. Woo! Let's get Susie in here. What's up? Oh, we caught her mid chew.
I'm all good now. Finishing up my dinner.
Sorry about that. Oh, see? You put it up on the screen, Jay, but you didn't announce it. Next event, June 19th, Madison Chain.
My job is to put stuff up. Your stuff, you're supposed to read.
We got DP in the house. Armando Sola.
What's up, Armando? Danny.
Sola.
So, welcome back to the OG show. Wanted to talk to Susie tonight. Obviously, we want to talk about the Paddle and Fin series, talk about Susie, what she's been doing, fishing, if she's ever going to come back, things like that.
Yeah, well, life happens sometimes.
Well, you've been busy, right? I mean,
just a little bit.
You got a new house, switched job positions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Running tournaments, all that good stuff. So where do you want to start?
Man, where to even start? Gosh, wow. Yeah. Can you believe that my last podcast show was I think it was the Thanksgiving thing that I did. I got a bunch of people to send me their thankful videos. And I think that was my actual last podcast for last year. So it's been a minute. So yeah, last October, Evan and I bought our first house, which I'm in the garage in right now. So my kind of temporary broadcast studio until I get the she shed completed, which that's a pretty big endeavor right now. But one thing at a time. And then back in November, I changed jobs at the hospital that I work at. And it was definitely a move up, and it's awesome. And it's crazy busy, which I really like because the days go by super fast. So yeah. And then, there's more. Jay and Brian and I all decided, hey, let's run a trail series. So, we've been doing that. I also help with KBL guys as well. So, just a little bit of stuff going on. So
I just looked. Your last podcast was December 12th. It was a recap on 2020.
Yes. Look at you.
See that? Where were you on that one, Jay?
I knew what you were doing. So Brian's like immediately on his phone.
No, because you know what I think it is normally with the podcast, I got to download this stuff to the computer, which is also synced with my phone. Thank you, Apple. And I got in the car, I think it was yesterday, and my radio will automatically start playing audio files from my phone. And I think it was that last one. So I was like, no, I think there was another one in there because I remember you talking about Christmas coming up or something like that or whatever. Anyways. But yeah, trail series so far, it's been growing, which is super cool. Obviously, the last event was kind of interesting. We had a few things that happened. You want to touch on those and go over that stuff for those folks that may attend in June?
Absolutely. So, I mean, hey, why not? That's why we're here, whoa, hello. My camera's moving on me. As tournament directors and everything, we try to be as transparent as possible. We read through rules all the time. We get questions about them all the time. And of course, there's always things that are either just not black and white, or sometimes there's room for, misconception, what have you. So basically, the nitty gritty of it is that there was some misunderstanding because it was a combo event with the Topwater Series, which is an awesome series. They're based out of Michigan and now northern Indiana. And because of COVID, they've been doing everything virtual. So they haven't necessarily had to have what we call live check-ins. So basically, our reasoning behind that is I've had an experience where we didn't have an angler check in on time, and that angler actually died. So, those are like safety considerations that we always like to have. It's a liability thing too. I mean, as a series, we want to make sure that everybody's safe, everybody's off the water that needs to be off the water. And if we can't get a hold of somebody, we're going to send people out there to come look for you. So basically, there's a little bit of misunderstanding with like our rules and Topwater rules and whatnot. So there was a couple of unfortunate disqualifications because in our rules, we did state if you were not at the check-in location as announced at the captain's meeting on Facebook, then you would be disqualified. So the check-in time was by, I think it was 3:45 or 2:45.
Actually, yeah,
3:30, right?
No, I believe it was 3:45.
I think it was 3:45.
Awards were supposed to be at 4:00.
Supposed to be at 4. Yep. So, but yeah, that's just kind of the nitty gritty of it. Again, it's not anything that we do to inconvenience anybody. It is just strictly straightforward, a safety concern. We want to make sure everybody's safe and off the water. And some people would also use the Tourney X feature for checking in. And we hadn't actually considered that just because all of our events were going to be a live check-in type thing. So we hadn't really thought about that or considered that. So for that tournament in particular, being a co-event, we did allow the anglers that did use the Tourney X check-in feature as their check-in. For that situation. However, going forward with our tournaments, we aren't going to allow that as a check-in. Again, as like a safety precaution, if somebody's like right there at the ramp and they click on their phone, checked in, and something happens, because again, you never know. you're not physically at the check-in. So if I can't get a hold of you, I'm going to send somebody to look for you, call help or whatever type of thing. Let's see here. I just had something. Now I lost my train of thought. We also had a minor discrepancy happen too that changed the outcomes of placement as well. I had a gentleman come up to me and say, hey, I swear I submitted, a 17-inch fish. I was like, oh, okay, let me look through the fish that you submitted that I accepted. And I was looking through and I was like, well, 16's your biggest. So, then I got to look, and then a feature with Tourney X is you can see all of the submitted fish one angler has submitted. So I went through them, and he had I think 3 or 4 cold fish. So I was like, well, I'll check through his cold fish just to see what's up with that. And the first one I clicked on happened to be, it was either a wet thumb or, fat thumb or just, whatever may have happened. And it just got entered in as 0.17. Now I know with Android and Apples, sometimes it won't let you put the decimal in, or some of them do. I know there's a little bit of differences with that. So, that might have been.
I know on Apple, you just type in the numbers, it starts off at 0.00 and you have to type in the numbers. So for a 17-inch fish, you would put in 1700.
00. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. And I think with Android, I can't remember if it's the same way or not. I haven't used it in a minute. So
I could never get it to work on the app.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so we turned out, we're like, okay, he turned in a fish. He turned it on time. He was in the check-in, before check-in time. We looked through everything and we decided that, that is a acceptable fish. But it just was a minor technicality. So we went back and we adjusted the actual measurement of the fish, which changed placement. I think there was 4 or 5 placement changes within it was probably 20 minutes because of, all the stuff that was going on. So, but we had 220 some odd fish submitted that day alone. So it was definitely a busy day, judge wise. Shout out to Titus for helping me out too. He would check in about every half hour. And it was just as soon as I got out on the water, as soon as it was go time, it was just oh, I had 5 or 6 come in. So, I'd judge them, then I'd refresh, and then there'd be 6 more. That's kind of basically how it went the whole entire day. But some of the best comments I got was, man, I've never had my my fish judge so fast before. And I'm like, hey, man, I don't let fish just sit there. I see John Rapp's comment on here. I can't wait to get Susie cued again real soon.
Love it. Love it. Shout out to Jeff Hepp, our wonderful volunteer that helps us out at all the events. He's up in Michigan and he has been crushing it, dude. I've been seeing all the pictures he's posting, and I hope he's having a great time, man. Looks like he is. He's definitely catching fish. Going back though to the gentleman that submitted the fish. He did submit it in time. It was entered wrong. We did end up accepting that fish, and in hindsight, moving forward, it should be the angler's responsibility to make sure all their fish are uploaded correctly and things like that. So moving forward, if you don't submit it right, and it's because that was the thing is, had he said something before we did the awards, no big deal, right? We could have switched everything, but he waited until afterwards, hey, this is my total's wrong. You can check the fish that are on your leaderboard through the app, through the website. There's multiple ways to do that. I know me personally, anytime I fished a tournament, I always make sure I got all my fish submitted and submitted correctly. there was an instance a couple of years ago in another event where a gentleman couldn't submit his fish. He submitted him to a completely different tournament and then automatically assumed that tournament directors would know it was for the other event because that the identifier number was on his tournament tag, which completely changed the standings. And I'm talking standings from like that gentleman was like not on the leaderboard at all to second place. Like if you're in second place in a big event like that, like, and you're having issues and you don't bring it up to anybody until after the awards, like that bumped me down a spot. My ass is still a little chapped from that, if you can't tell. But it's one of those things. It's the angler's responsibility, and I think both the check-in. We did get some feedback, which is always great. Was that like we didn't emphasize and use the word mandatory for the check-in.
Mandatory, required.
However, the way I believe I stated it in the captain's meeting was you need to be here in line, photos submitted by such and such time. Yeah. But I didn't say it was mandatory that you needed to be there.
But, in their defense too, right, coming off of COVID, well, actually, we're not off of it yet, but we're we're in the beginning stages of it, and people are gathering now, and they're still. I mean, you just have to be very explicit about, indirect on what is expected, and we will be.
And always read the rules for every tournament you fish, every club, organization, whether it be KBF, Hobie, Paddle and Fin, your local club event like KBL here in Illinois, or John Rapp's club out in West Virginia. All those rules are going to be different. Yeah, a lot of them are going to overlap, but and it's the worst thing in the world is to have to disqualify somebody, dock their fish, and so on and so forth. You know what I mean? Like that's the last thing we want to do.
So
you know what I mean?
It
and
sucks.
We all got stuck in conversations, that weekend, and rightfully so, right? We're new. You're going to have hiccups, and things like that. However, it's the way you handle them and the way you present them to those anglers. But, it was very frustrating on our end, because we did have a couple of DQs. One of them would have been in top 10.
Yep.
And one of them,
two
of them.
Either way, it still sucks.
Or either way.
Either way, doesn't matter. It still sucked.
Yeah.
One of them was, somebody we work with, like, you know what I mean? Like nobody wants to do that.
Yep.
And it could have all been solved. That's it too, right? If you're not coming back to check in, call, message, text message, phone numbers are given out in the captain's meeting. You need to let somebody know, like Susie emphasized, like it's a safety thing. It's not a matter of you showing up and having the numbers there at the awards ceremony. That doesn't matter to us. What matters is that you're off the water and you're making it back home to your loved ones. You know what I mean? Like, and even if you don't have any loved ones, you know what I mean? Like, it's just important to us, like everybody's safety, So
I'll tell you, first, having experienced it firsthand, don't be ghosting the TDs. Exactly. Firsthand, having that parent come up to me and ask me, where their son was like the worst feeling in the world, because like there was still time for people to check in by, and I was like, well, he might still be out on the water. We'll try getting a hold of him, and not knowing what had happened at all, but I will never forget, her face, her emotion and everything. And just seeing everything play out like the way that it did,
Well, and that's just it too, right? Like you're not thinking the worst, right? Like obviously that scenario you're talking about is the worst case scenario. and nobody's expecting that. It's, either somebody, didn't catch any fish and they're heading home early, or, they're, taking time, went back to their camps to pack stuff up, went back to the hotel, bad they didn't catch fish that day. Like, those are the scenarios we typically play out in our minds when we're waiting for those folks to show up. And that's it too. Like, other anglers that are there, like, I know we had asked the folks that were there, have you guys seen this angler, that angler, at the ramp when you guys were packing up, getting ready to head back here? And I think there was one guy in particular that, was heading home straight from the ramp. Some anglers did see him pack up, put his kayak on the trailer and all that good stuff. We did message them. We did call them, and ended up hearing back from them, so that's the other thing too. Just be cognizant of like who's back at the ramp when you are. So that way, if we're looking for somebody, or maybe pay attention when you're on the water, because if you see, so-and-so was fishing this area, like if it becomes that scenario, at least we can find that person and hopefully get them help.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So.
Exactly. Yeah. Cause being that person, to just, have to deal with that, as TDs, like it was awful, like having to call the Coast Guard, and hearing the Coast Guard over the radio talking about, when they found him, and then bringing them back to the ramp, in the boat and everything. And then the coroner shows up, everybody is just like completely dumbfounded by what just happened, and just, it's not anything that anybody should ever have to go through. It happens. But the first thing, most important thing is, your guys' safety.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I had a thought and I just lost it. Yeah. I mean, obviously, we're all out there to have fun, have a good time, yeah, there's a little bit of money at play and things like that, but life is way more important than a few bones. You know what I mean? So, enough sad talk.
That's right.
Madison
Let's get on to the happy stuff.
Madison Chain, June 19th. Big smallmouth, big largemouth. I actually just fished up there last weekend. There were some largemouths on bed. Smallmouth were just getting ready to move up. I was fishing Lake Monona. It was good. It was good. And I want to give a shout out to, if you're up in the Wisconsin area, I believe it's Brian Coyne. Is that who it is? Is he from Wisconsin? If Brad Hurlboss is watching this, he'll drop in the comments. Maybe I can find the link. But they just started, which is super cool, a Monday night weekly tournament on the Madison Chain of Lakes. And it's a different lake every Monday. So you can only, like this past week, you could only fish Monona. I think next week is either Wabisa or Mendota. Super cool format. So if you're in the Madison Chain area and you're looking for, you'll have to find it on Facebook.
Oh, it's only
yeah, it's Madison Kayak Fishing League or something like that. But if you're in the Madison area, cool little format. I think they had like 12 guys show up this past Monday. Nice. I think the entry fee is like $25 or something like that, or maybe it's 35 and 10 goes to big bass, something like that. But something cool and new in the Midwest area that is going on. Yeah, I think it's that Madison Kayak League or whatever that was up there. Yeah. Yep. Boom. What's the next one? Next one will be June 7th on Mendota at the Warner Boat Launch. Fishing time is 5:30 to 9 p.m. So
nice.
Yeah, shout out to those guys. I know Brad Hurlboss fished that. He caught I think it's best 3 fish instead of best 5. So Brad caught 3 fish limit. Brad caught 2 fish. There's 12 events. Top 8 events go towards AOI points for end of the year.
Yeah, it's goes through August 22nd.
August 22nd. There you go. Boom. Grab that link and drop it in the comments. There you go, Jay Randall. It's got to be worth something around here, you know. But getting back to you, you've been fishing a bunch, obviously, around your home lake. You fished a little when we were out there at in Michigan,
Cold
correct? Yeah,
Cold water.
Cold water. So, how's your fishing season been going?
My fishing season has been going pretty darn good. Knock on wood. I don't want to jinx myself just yet. Yeah, after last year, after, kind of getting the spring spawn taken away from me because of COVID, I decided, that this year I was just going to focus on, fishing the spawn, learning how to fish it and understand it, and just, just learn more in a sense, kind of pay attention more to like the water, reading the water, and just not getting so focused on like other things. Like if I'm not figuring out, not to like really start going down that mental path of, oh, you're never going to figure it out, or, oh, you're never going to get it together, or whatever type of thing. So, and it's actually been working out really good. So, my first outing was back in March sometime. And I think temps were, oh gosh, I don't even remember. They were probably like maybe
it was cold.
Low. It was cold. Yeah, there was still some ice on the water, just a little bit, but it was melting. But I went out there and I was throwing, what did I throw? I think I threw a jerk bait and maybe a spinner bait or something like that, and I caught fish, and I was just like, oh, well, maybe I am figuring it out and learning. So I'm afraid to say this because I'm afraid that as soon as I say it, I'm going to have like a bunch of these happen to me, but like I haven't been skunked yet. So
it's coming.
I had one last weekend on Lake Delavan, but I was fishing from a boat. So that's what I'm blaming.
You're out of your element.
But well, the whole boat skunked, and there was 3 of us. And I don't know what's happened in Lake Delavan, but it is not what it used to be.
That's kind of what I've heard.
Well, I know another local or Midwest club had a tournament up there, and I think the winner caught 3 fish.
Yeah,
and I think it was like five people caught fish.
Wow.
And I believe Alan Wiedemeyer fished that tournament, and he got skunked, and he went up like a week or 2 after, and he only caught 1 fish.
Yeah,
and it wasn't very big. So,
yikes.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on up there, Delavan, Wisconsin. Get your act together. But yeah, it's interesting, man. Like, I've been thinking about that a lot lately. I've been catching some fish. I've been sharing that stuff with you guys. I've been posting it on my social media, and those dog days of summer are going to eventually come where fishing's going to slow down and things like that. But what a great time to be on the water right now, wherever you are, whether you're pre-post or right on spawning, like up north. I know I was talking the New Canoe show that I do on Tuesday nights. I was talking to Danny Uribe from Texas, and he was up in Minnesota. I think it was last week or the week before, and he said they were all pre-spawn, and they were catching giant smallies. Caught a 45-inch pike. Jay peed his pants. A lot of bluegills and crappies and walleyes. Good eater walleyes too, he was saying. So yeah, but I think that's where we should go this weekend, Jay. Minnesota.
Minnesota. Here we go.
That's a 12-hour drive.
There you go.
No, it's less than that. It's 8. I looked.
It's like 3 from your house.
No, it's 8 from my house.
I'm pretty sure it's 3.
Jay thinks everything's 3 hours from my house.
Every time you talk to Brian, he's like, "Hey, let's go to Green Bay." I'm like, isn't that pretty far? He's
Dude,
like, it's like
Green
3 hours
Bay
from
from my
house.
place is 3 hours. I will Google it right now live on this stream if you don't believe me. So where you been fishing, Susie? I gotta Google some stuff real quick.
So this season so far, my primary fishing area has been Banner Marsh. I've been focusing on kind of like two different lakes in a sense. With Banner, there's like three like boat ramps per se, but like there's other parts along the roads where you can just put in off the side of the road. So but I mainly focus on what's considered like the main lake, Johnson Lake, and then also what's called Pump House. See, there you go.
3.5
Three and a
hours.
3.5.
half.
That's 3 hours,
That's
bro.
3
3 hours.
It's like 5 for
3
me.
hours.
With
No,
your
it's not.
driving and you're the way that you speed, I mean, you know.
It was 3 hours and 45 minutes from Jay's house because I looked earlier.
Everything is 3 hours from Brian's house, like especially the way he drives.
Don't even look for my house. It's probably like 6.
No, it's probably 3.
No, because I think it's like 2 hours down to Banner Marsh from my place. See, 2
Because you're
hours.
going down
Yeah.
39, right?
2 hours.
Yep.
Yeah.
39.
39.
Yeah. But yeah, I've been mainly focusing on Banner Marsh. You know, just I love that place. Like there's so much variety to it. Like there's structure, there's super deep water, there's super shallow water, there's lily pads, there's moss, there isn't really like a whole lot of rock per se. But it's dirty water, well, dirty-ish, depending on you know, if there's been recent rain and whatnot. After today and tomorrow will probably be mixed up a little bit, but that's the way I like it. I don't like super clear water. It's out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
You didn't you catch a big muskie at the beginning of this year?
I sure did.
Yeah, that's right. I wasn't sure if it was last fall or the beginning of this year.
Oh yeah, was that March or April? I'm trying to remember. It smoked a jackhammer, and I knew what it was like as soon as it hit, because I was throwing a jackhammer and I wasn't seeing a lot of fish on my fish finder, and I was just like, oh, I wonder what's going on, because usually the area I was at, I usually see them. And I was fishing this point, and I had brought it up real fast, and I saw this like swirl in the water. I was just like, I wonder if that's a muskie. And so I cast it like at least like 50 yards in the complete different direction. And that thing must have like jetted to it, because like as soon as I started reeling it, bam, it hit. And I mean, like it was just like a log in the water. And like I could kind of feel it going like that. And I was like, oh God, I got a muskie on. And that was a lot of fun. There are huge muskie in that lake. Huge muskie. And I had just said like a couple weeks before that of all the times I've been fishing at Banner, I had never caught a muskie at Banner. So lo and behold, I finally got my muskie. It was at least like 42, 43 inches.
Ah, she's a baby.
It's just a baby. It's just a baby.
I caught my PB bass at Banner.
Oh,
I think it was like 13 inches.
13 inches?
Nah, it's a 20. It was a 22.
Ooh.
Yeah, there's some big fish in there, man.
I've gotten close to getting a 22 at Banner. It was 2018 or 2019 in the fall. I think it was 19. I was fishing the like the charity tournament that David Brooke had going on. And that was the day I also lost my phone in the water. No, it was the day before that tournament. That's right. Because I was pre-fishing it. And I was throwing a whopper plopper, and this thing just came up and just like slurped it. It didn't even like jump out of the water or anything. I thought I got hung up on weeds until it started pulling away, and I was like, oh God. And then it jumped, and I was like, oh God. Like I've caught, like 21s and stuff like that in Banner before, but this one, it was a 1/4 inch away from matching my PB. I mean, it was just all fish. There's that muskie.
Yeah.
Get that thing by your crotch? Like, no way, man.
Well,
No way.
Bet Adam was jealous.
Yeah.
Just saying.
But muskies are pretty more
thing.
docile than pike are, though.
Look at those teeth, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
Mm-hmm. After getting my thumb sliced open by that little muskie at God, what lake was that? Was that Otter or Jacksonville? I don't remember which one, but I caught a little one and it inhaled my plopper, and I wanted my plopper back. And I was reaching in there with the pliers, and it flinched just right and sliced my thumb right open.
I get those 11-inch pliers.
Well, yeah. Well, now I got the grips now too. I didn't have grips with me last time, so yeah.
Yeah, those things. I was at one time we were out there. Actually, it was during a bass tournament, and I was sucking, and I was like, the water was particularly clear in the one spot, and I looked down, and there was 3 muskies, 3 very large muskies together right by a string of grass that was coming up.
Yeah.
They were just all hanging out together, and I'm like, well, I got nothing else to lose. So I start throwing. I'm jigging. I got a jig, spinnerbait, anything you could drop in front of them. They did not care. I couldn't get them, and it was just tearing me apart because I'm like, I need to catch something. I was like, I'm dying here. I put all my eggs in one basket on that tournament because I went back to the spot where I caught the PB, and that spot did not turn out one bit. Spent some time in there too, but I don't know. That was a rough day. But yeah, seeing those muskies though, I mean, it's pretty interesting how they'll school.
Yeah.
Sit with each other. And I was like, I never knew they did that. But those are easily 40+ inch. Easily.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there are some giant muskies in there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, usually I don't see them very often either. In the early spring is usually when I see them the most, just because there isn't much weeds. And if they're coming up and trailing one of my baits, I'm like, no, I'm going to the other end of the lake now because I don't want that thing taking off my jackhammer or whatever.
Or losing stuff.
Yeah. Just nah, I don't want to wrangle with you today.
Yeah. Are you ever going out specifically targeting the muskies, or is it all pretty much by accident when you're catching them?
The muskie was very accidental. I wasn't really necessarily targeting it. I mean, it'd be cool to kind of learn to target muskie, but my big thing right now is I want to be a better bass angler before I start focusing on muskie. I'm kind of more or less I have 2 species that I focus on. Bass, smallies, which are, bass in a sense. And then in the fall, it's king salmon.
Yep.
All the way.
Right on.
So I'm just all right, I'm going to start with those and then just go from there. I don't even try to fish for crappie or bluegill or anything like that. If I catch extra stuff like that, then I'm like, hey, look at that. I caught that stuff. So, but my main focus is just, learning to better understand the bass, the behavior, reading the water, still reading my fish finder, because sometimes there are days where I'm just I see stuff. Is that a fish? What kind of a fish is that? Yeah.
What fish finder are you running?
I've got a Lowrance Elite 9 Ti. I got that in 2017.
Okay.
Ish. Yeah, so it still runs pretty good. It's got the side scan, down scan. It doesn't have the super fancy live target stuff that everybody's into now and all that. So, but I mean, it still does pretty good. So
when you're running along, are you using multi-screen?
Yeah.
What screens are typically on your depth finder 90% of the time?
When I'm at Banner, 90% of the time, I'm only just running my sonar. There is usually never any reason, unless it's early spring when there's no weeds, I'll run my side scan. But other than that, I'm just running my sonar just because it's just mainly for depth. I'm looking for my drop-offs. That's really what I use at Banner. But like when I'm somewhere new, I'll have 3 different ones up. So like I'll have my map, and then I'll have my side scan, and then I'll have my sonar up.
Okay. What about
So like
you?
at cold water, yeah, I was using all 3 of those.
I would probably end up running 4 and adding the down scan into that too, just to get that extra detail out of the sonar that you don't see.
Look at you, Mr. 4 screen. We'll call you 4 screen.
Yeah,
No, I'm the same. So I go back and forth. Like I'm half and half. I'll have the regular contour map up, side scan, and then I either run dual sonar because I run a Garmin, so you could run the side-by-side sonar at different hertz, or I'll swap the sonar out with down scan. But I just got a new transducer from our good friend Brad Hurlboss, and the down scan is unbelievable now.
Oh, I'm sure.
Down scan and side scan, a lot
I'm
clearer.
sure.
Watch out! Watch out! But,
Nice.
yeah.
Can't wait to get my Lowrance.
I always think that's interesting, like how people, I know some guys, they'll just like pre-fishing for a tournament, they'll just strictly run side scan,
Mm-hmm.
Some do a dual, some do 3 screens. So it's always interesting. I always like hearing, how different people run their electronics, so to speak. So,
Well, I think like a lot of people too, usually, I don't know. I've seen a trend in it where they'll run that side scan. They'll run up, and set it out to like maybe like 80, 100 feet.
yeah.
I think optimal's like 60 though in most cases, but
Yeah.
But they'll run it and they'll run up that shore and then circle back around. But during the time that they're running up the shore, they're waypointing.
Yeah.
Where they're seeing fish, so then they can come back and work it off the map.
Yeah. Yeah, I usually run my side scan 70 feet out each way. What about you, Susie?
I'm trying to remember what mine's set to. I think it's either 50 or 75, something like that. Like if I'm in like a deeper body of water, I'll have it set, a little bit deeper. But like if I know I'm going to be in a lake that, has pretty shallow areas, then I'll set it like, 50 or 30.
Right on. Right on. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Well, what exciting stuff you got coming up before we wrap this thing up?
This weekend, open invitation for anybody who's going to be down in my area. I am fishing Banner Marsh like there's no tomorrow. Just kind of for fun. And just, I haven't been in quite a while. This past weekend, I actually didn't get out at all. I had a lot of like house stuff that I had to kind of catch up on and everything. We had a what we like to call a mattress fiasco. We went and bought a new mattress at a clearance center on a Wednesday. We got it in on a Saturday and didn't realize that it needed a special foundation. It can't just go over like slats. It's got to be on a flat, solid bottom. So we couldn't even sleep on it for the first 2 days. And then I had ordered like a new comforter sheet and all that other stuff on Amazon. It got here on Monday. There were no sheets. It was just the comforter. That I was supposed to get like the whole set with pillowcases and everything. And I was just like, oh my God, we're never going to be able to sleep in our new beds.
The heck, Adam.
Yeah.
Adam's
so that
fault.
was a lot of fun. Yeah. But coming up, let's see here. So yeah, this weekend's Memorial Day weekend. Then the weekend after that, there is a KBL tournament here on Banner Marsh. So getting a little
pre-fishing in.
Yeah, get pre-fishing in, and I know people know that they know that I know this lake because I live so close to it. So, no pressure at all there.
Right.
So try not to, let that get to my head too much, but just gonna kind of do what I always do and just fish it for good. I'm gonna be fishing Banner for like so this weekend, the weekend after, and then the weekend after that. So like the next 3 weekends or so, I'm gonna be at Banner. Because the weekend after that is the Gerby, Banner Series, which is also like part of their trail event as well.
Sure.
And then the week that's like the middle of June, I'm going to leave for Wisconsin on the 17th after I get off work, and I'm going to have some fun fishing for smallies.
Yeah.
Up on the Madison Chain on the 18th before our next trail event on the 19th. Giggity.
What? No Emaquan?
Well, I actually thought about driving out there just to see like what the conditions are right now. We have had a much drier spring than typical. We haven't like flooded or anything like that. So it has me wondering that if Emaquan is even accessible right now. So I haven't decided if if I do go, I'll probably go either maybe tomorrow after dinner or something like that, or maybe like Saturday after I'm done at Banner or something, just to, see what the conditions are. It's probably still somewhat decent, but ever since they drained it and did the work on the levee and everything, they didn't completely drain it, but they lowered it pretty drastically. Like the fish populations have definitely been noticeably lower. So, but like last spring, I found them pretty good, and I was on some good fish, but I couldn't find those females last year, but I know that they had to be there. So
yeah, that's an interesting
there's
place.
some in there.
Yeah, being so close to the river and everything too, it's a real interesting place. Because you even get some of the what's it called? Some of the carp in there. Some of the Asian
yes, yeah. The Asian carp have gotten in there now. There's white bass in there too.
A lot of gar.
There's some gar in there, and then there's a lot of bowfin in there too.
Yeah, that's true. I saw one across a trail path when I was walking on it, and like it was like less than 6 inches of water is the weirdest thing I ever saw. I was like, this thing just like right across the. I was just like, what is going on right here? And I actually ran to my truck to go get a rod really quick, and I couldn't find them again.
Yeah, they'll smack like anything. Like I've gotten them on chatterbaits, I've gotten them on swim jigs, I've even gotten them on topwater before. So if you think you got a big bass on there, sometimes it's a good old blue mouthed and bluefin bowfin.
Yeah. Yeah, those things are evil looking. They look like one of the
They
critters.
They're dinosaurs, man. I mean, like they're ancient.
Well, you remember that old movie Critters, though? That old that's like a horror movie.
I've seen like bits and pieces of it. They're the weird things that like roll under the bed and whatnot.
But their faces are the same. Like they have those teeth. It's like almost like a Pac-Man mouth, just full of teeth.
Oh boy. Love it. Well, Susie, we may see you this weekend. So we'll discuss that after we finish up here.
Yeah, if you're lucky.
Yeah, we're still going back and forth on what our plans are for this weekend, but it's very enticing. Very enticing.
Yeah.
Like I know that the spawn is done, and this time of year, like it's swim jig, it's topwater, it's chatterbait. I mean, it's awesome.
I love it. Any shout outs, any of that good stuff you want to throw out there for the good folks?
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to Quest Water Sports. They are my Hobie dealer. Shout out to Kistler Rods. She Angler Custom Baits, Tim Hamilton with Bassett Baits. Just put in an order with him, so hopefully I'll be getting some new stuff here soon. I'm excited for those. Let's see here. Dakota Lithium, Catch Pro Team. I probably always forget somebody when I go through this part, but
Paddle and Fin.
Well, yeah, obviously, of course, Paddle and Fin.
Jay, do you remember where we are? We are in the Paddle and Fin podcast studio.
It's been a while.
Say you're in the studio.
Oh, man. Awesome. Well, as always, Susie, thanks for joining us. Next week, we got Brennan McDougall, nice young angler from Indiana, very up and coming. Huge shout out to Jackson Orr, graduated high school today.
Yes.
I know he's going to a college fishing team. I forget where he chose, but huge congrats to him, man. It's cool seeing these young guys coming up and making moves and doing cool stuff. So it'll be fun talking with Brennan next week. And should be good. Susie, as always, thank you. Hang tight.
You're welcome. Always
Any
a pleasure.
final thoughts, Jay?
Be careful out there.
Yeah, that's one thing. It's Memorial Day weekend, boys and girls.
Yes.
If you listen to this right away, be conscious of what's going on around you while you were on the water this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
There will be
Don't be wearing those headphones.
Yeah, there will be all kinds of fools on the water. So be conscious of what's going on around you this weekend. Be safe. Don't end up like my man Brock Holland getting run over by a boat. So
don't drink and drive. Have a DD.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Why couldn't you say something responsible like that?
Because I'm not responsible.
Oh boy. All right, boys and girls. Until next time, tight lines, smooth paddling. Peace. Thanks for tuning in to another killer episode on Paddle and Fin. Don't forget to go check out our website at paddle_and_fin.com. Don't forget to check out the YouTube channel at Paddle and Fin. If you got a question, comment, want to hear from a future guest on a future episode, feel free to email us at paddle_and_fin@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on social media at Paddle and Fin on Facebook and Instagram. Shout out to our show supporters, Angler. The Angler button and app just makes for a better time on the water and creates a virtual logbook for every fishing outing out on the water. Shout out to Rocktown Adventures, located in Northern Illinois, for all your kayaking, camping, and hiking needs. Shout out to Jig Masters Jigs. When in doubt,